Hello and welcome to Europe, the continent of love, history, culture and... Oh, who are we kidding? This is 2023, where the only thing overflowing here besides the Seine is existential dread. You booked this trip to find yourself, didn't you? Well, good news, you absolutely will. Wedged between sweaty tourists on the tube, desperately trying to decipher a public transit map that looks like it was designed by Picasso. So, pack your bags, charge your phone, and prepare to have your soul crushed. First up, we have Turkey. A country where you can wander through the ancient ruins of Ephesus one minute and be aggressively haggled over a knockoff handbag the next. Let's start in Istanbul's Grand Bazaar, a labyrinthine hellscape of over 4,000 shops. It's a sensory overload in the worst way possible. A cacophony of shopkeepers shouting in languages you don't understand. The scent of spices mixing with questionable hygiene, and enough knockoff designer goods to make even the most ethical shopper question their morals. You will get lost, you will get overcharged. You will leave questioning your sanity and wondering if the entire experience was just a fever dream brought on by a rogue pistachio. But hey, at least you can tell everyone back home you experienced authentic Turkish culture. Just don't mention the part where you spent $50 on a silk scarf that's actually made of recycled plastic bottles. Next up, we have Iceland, the land of fire and ice, where the northern lights dance across the sky and the cost of living will make your eyes water faster than the spray from a geyser. Let's begin with the Blue Lagoon, Iceland's most famous tourist trap, and for good reason. It's essentially a giant overpriced bathtub filled with milky blue water and enough Instagram influencers to populate a small island nation. You'll pay an exorbitant fee to jostle for space with hordes of other tourists, all desperately trying to capture that perfect candid shot while pretending not to notice the layer of sunscreen and despair floating on the surface of the water. And let's not forget the silica mud masks, which sound luxurious until you realize that you now resemble a budget version of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Ray, what about the stunning natural beauty of Iceland? The waterfalls, the glaciers, the vast untouched landscapes. Well, my friend, have I got news for you? Get ready to experience those majestic sights from the confines of a cramped tour bus, sandwiched between a snoring senior citizen and a child who appears to be fueled entirely by sugar and the unbridled chaos of youth. You'll be herded from one overcrowded viewpoint to the next, spending more time staring at the back of someone's head than actually enjoying the scenery. And don't even get me started on trying to find a decent bathroom break in the Icelandic wilderness. But hey, at least you can tell everyone back home you completed the ring road, even if the only ring you'll be feeling afterwards is the persistent ringing in your ears from the sheer volume of your fellow tourists. All right, let's talk about the UK. Land of Shakespeare, Stonehenge, and... well, that's about it. Oh, and food that can best be described as culinary beige. You know, the kind of food that makes you wonder if flavour went extinct with the dinosaurs. Seriously, look at this. Bangers and mash. It's like someone took all the excitement out of a sausage, mashed some potatoes in despair and called it a day. And don't even get me started on the gravy. I'm convinced they just heat up some leftover dishwater and call it gravy. It's enough to make you want to book a one-way ticket back to literally anywhere else. As if the food wasn't bad enough, let's talk about the weather. Imagine, if you will, a sky perpetually shrouded in grey like a giant damp blanket suffocating all joy. That's the UK for you. It's the kind of weather that makes you want to stay indoors, huddled under a blanket, contemplating the futility of existence. And don't even think about sunshine. It's a mythical creature in those parts, whispered about in hushed tones like unicorns or a decent cup of tea. Speaking of tea, yes, they drink a lot of it, probably in a desperate attempt to wash down the taste of the aforementioned beige food. Next up, Switzerland. Land of neutrality, chocolate and cripplingly expensive everything. Seriously, be prepared to remortgage your house if you plan on doing anything more extravagant than breathing in this alpine paradise. Want a cup of coffee? That'll be $15. A bottle of water? Better make it $10, friend. Even the air seems to have a premium price tag attached to it. And don't even get me started on the chocolate. Yes, it's delicious, but at what cost? I'm pretty sure I saw a family of 4 hand over their life savings for a single chocolate bar. Now you might be thinking, but Ray, what about the scenery, the majestic Alps, the pristine lakes? And yes, the scenery is undeniably beautiful, like postcard-worthy beautiful. But here's the thing about breathtaking scenery. It gets boring really, really quickly. After a while, all those mountains start to look the same. It's like being trapped inside a screensaver, a very, very expensive screensaver. Plus, good luck finding anything remotely exciting to do, unless, of course, your idea of a wild time involves watching cheese being made, which, let's be honest, it doesn't. Germany, land of beer, bratwurst, and unwavering efficiency. And look, I appreciate a well-oiled machine as much as the next guy, but Germany takes it to a whole other level. Everything runs on time. Everything is meticulously organized. Spontaneity? Forget about it. Trying to deviate from the plan in Germany is like trying to fight a robot army armed with nothing but a pool noodle. You will lose, and you will feel bad about losing, because the robot army will have anticipated your every move, and they'll be mildly disappointed in your lack of planning. Now I know what you're thinking, but Ray, what about Oktoberfest? Isn't that a giant beer-fueled celebration of all things fun? And yes, Oktoberfest does exist, for a few weeks anyway. But even then, there's an underlying current of order and precision to the whole affair. It's like someone took the concept of a wild party and ran it through a German efficiency filter. So if you're looking for a destination that will crush your soul with its relentless efficiency and adherence to rules, well, Germany is the place for you. Just don't be late for your scheduled soul crushing. They wouldn't like that. Ah, the Netherlands. Land of tulips, windmills, and a creeping sense of unease that seeps into your bones like damp fog. You'll likely start your journey in Amsterdam, a city famed for its canals and a particular kind of permissiveness that makes you question your life choices or lack thereof. Sure, you can visit the Anne Frank house, but be prepared for the crushing weight of history to make that stroopwafel feel awfully dry in your mouth. And don't even think about renting a bike. Navigating those narrow streets with hordes of other tourists is about as enjoyable as a root canal performed by a particularly sadistic dentist. Now, some might tell you to venture out of Amsterdam to see the real Netherlands. They'll mention charming villages like Giethoorn with its quaint canals and complete lack of anything even remotely resembling excitement. But let's be honest, the Netherlands is mostly just flat, like really, really flat. It's the kind of flatness that makes you question the existence of a higher power, because surely no benevolent deity would subject their creation to such unrelenting monotony. Greece, the cradle of civilization, the birthplace of democracy. Also the place where your hopes and dreams of a relaxing vacation go to die under the scorching Mediterranean sun. You'll be bombarded with images of pristine beaches and ancient wonders, but what they don't show you are the crowds, the heat, and the lingering sense that you've stumbled onto the set of a post-apocalyptic film. And good luck deciphering the menus. You'll spend more time trying to order a simple coffee than Socrates spent pondering the meaning of life. Now, the ancient Greeks were famous for their mythology, filled with tales of terrifying monsters and vengeful gods. But trust me, the only monsters you need to worry about in modern Greece are the ones wielding menus and overcharging for bottled water. And those sirens, luring sailors to their doom with their enchanting voices, they've been replaced by persistent vendors hawking overpriced souvenirs you'll never use. So, unless you're particularly interested in experiencing what it feels like to be constantly swindled while sweating through your clothes, I'd suggest giving Greece a miss. Spain, land of flamenco, paella, and the crushing realization that everyone else in the world is also on vacation at the same time as you. You'll be promised a vibrant culture, stunning architecture, and a laid-back atmosphere. What you'll actually get is a cacophony of languages, overpriced sangria, and the constant feeling that you're being herded like cattle through a theme park designed by Salvador Dali during a particularly bad acid trip. And don't even get me started on the siesta. It's not charming, it's just inconvenient. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Ray, what about the bullfights, the passion, the drama, the questionable ethics? Look, I'm not here to judge, but I will say this. Watching a bull get slowly tortured to death is not exactly my idea of a fun day out. Besides, you'll be too busy trying to keep your belongings safe from the nimble-fingered pickpockets who see tourists as walking wallets. Honestly, you'd have more fun staying home and watching someone try to fight a bull with a red flag they bought off Amazon. Ah, Italy. Land of romance, culture, and existential dread. Serenaded by gondoliers paying $100 for a 5-minute ride. Marvel at the Colosseum, dodging aggressive selfie sticks. Tourists clogging the streets like cholesterol in your nonna's arteries. More time queuing for the Sistine Chapel than looking at the ceiling. Italy is beautiful. The food is incredible. The wine flows. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ray, you're being overly negative. Maybe I am. Italy will break you. You'll wander through ancient ruins contemplating existence. You'll stuff your face with delicious carbohydrates. And you'll find yourself at the Trevi Fountain. At least you'll get some good Instagram photos. Welcome to France, the land of love, fashion and bureaucracy. Paris, the city so romanticized it could make a mime vomit. Stroll along the Seine, dodging aggressive pigeons and mimes. Marvel at the Eiffel Tower, a testament to human ingenuity. Spend on a croissant that's only marginally better than your local one. Beneath the chic exterior lies a deep-seated sense of ennui. The weight of history whispers existential dread with your espresso. Now, I'm not saying that France is all bad. The wine is excellent, the cheese is even better, and the public transportation system is surprisingly efficient. But there's a certain je ne sais quoi about the French that can be grating. Maybe it's the effortless chic, the way they can make a cigarette and a striped shirt look like the height of fashion. Or maybe it's the language itself, a series of guttural sounds disguised as romantic pronouncements. You'll spend weeks practicing your pronunciation of bonjour and croissant, only to be met with blank stares and a muttered anglais. And don't even get me started on the smoking. Everywhere you go, a haze of cigarette smoke follows you like a bad smell, clinging to your clothes and your hair, a constant reminder that you are not, in fact, French. But hey, at least you'll have a story to tell. Just try not to cough too much while you're telling it. So, there you have it, folks. 10 European destinations guaranteed to crush your soul and leave you questioning your life choices. But hey, at least you'll have some great stories to tell, right? Just don't blame me when you come back from your trip needing a vacation from your vacation. And remember, if you're ever feeling overwhelmed by the existential dread of it all, just remember, at least you're not a mime in Paris.